It's Tom and Todd's Face Off on WRKO.com.
Hey, we call it face-off. It's not tap-off because the NBA, they're in the tank. We're not in the tank.
Strike.
When
are we going on strike?
That's a good question.
We should look into that.
A little work stoppage here. But
Maybe
right
for the
now,
holidays?
You'll be entertained right to your socks on this one.
Newt Gingrich is rising in the polls. Will this continue, or is he just the GOP's flavor of the month?
I think it continues for a couple of reasons. One, the kind of flame up and then flame outs we've seen with all the others were almost predictable. They were, there was a certain phony feel to them. Gingrich has his problems, no question about it. But he's a very good debater, and he has chosen not to attack his opponents. He's chosen to attack Obama, and he brings history into the discussion. That's different than most of these other guys who are just kind of doing a little rote recitation of a few points.
Yeah, I agree.
Gingrich has a little bit more bicep on
you look at Rick Perry and Herman Cain, you're talking about liars who've just been handed the lies from their consultants, and they don't feel any great conviction about them. Newt, on the other hand, he's fat, he's got big jowls, he feels very presidential, he knows it. He's a historian, he teaches history. So every question coming his way, he weaves into this, he brings you back 300 years and he whips you back around to the present, and you really feel edified being in his presence, even if it's just him on the big screen. And I think there's a hunger for a real live president, and that will give him legs that will make him last longer than the other guys.
A real cheeseburger president as opposed to a phony cheeseburger
What are you
president.
saying Obama doesn't really like those burgers he goes to Virginia for?
Come on. He doesn't serve them enough. Cheeseburgers, the all-American food.
Obamacare heads to the Supreme Court. What's the ruling?
Here's my prediction. Supreme Court rules it. You ready?
I'm waiting.
The Supreme Court lets Obamacare, the most illegal, illegitimate piece of legislation ever passed in this country, lets it stand. And that appalls the nation and drives Barack Obama from office because the decision comes down right in the summer before the presidential election.
Very interesting theory, and not far-fetched. I know you're surprised that a far-fetched theory might have an unfar-fetched theory came from Todd, but not far-fetched at all. The Supreme Court on these questions shows a great deference to Congress, a great deference. And Todd, we had a guest in from Harvard Law, and a sensible guy, just about a week or 10 days ago. He said he has no doubt whatsoever.
Did he say that?
Court, yes, he did. None. He said it's a slam dunk for them. No, I'm not so sure. The notion of the federal government requiring you to do certain things, requiring you, wow.
I don't even see that. I think the whole idea of taking a big chunk of our economy and just dumping it off to federal agencies is on its very face unconstitutional. If you embrace the spirit, spend 30 or 40 seconds with the Constitution, and then you compare that to Obamacare, you just look at it and say, this is ridiculous. This is, let's send it over to the Communist Chinese and maybe they'll like it. And certainly Fidel will like it down in Cuba. But it has nothing to do with our system of government.
Michele Bachmann is crying foul at what she calls a bias at recent debates. Does she have a point? And do media outlets have a right to limit unfavorable candidates with low poll numbers?
I think they do have a right, but it does get a little frustrating if you fall into Michele's category. Although she doesn't have much to cry about, she was the darling, and she's used these media forums and debates to project herself. The fact of the matter is she's been pretty well vetted and completely assessed by the electorate, and they have moved on. I mean, to have lost out in their affections to Rick Perry, which was really where the initial drift was, has to be immensely frustrating to her. But she has no gripe. She's had her moment on the stage, and she just did not catch the wind.
Well, look, I have a problem with this. If the media wants to blow off a boring, middle-aged former senator from Pennsylvania, Rick Santorum, hey, go ahead. I don't care who suffers. But Michele Bachmann's been wearing her hair up, and she looks sensational. I don't get them denying her equal face time.
It's called presidential heat, and Todd's feeling it.
I am. That was Face Off. No strike yet, but maybe over December we'll look into it. In the meantime, check back right here, WRKO.com.